All right, let's talk about two of the biggest, most hyped up technologies on the planet right now: artificial intelligence and crypto. I mean, they're everywhere. But what actually happens when you smash them together? Today, we're going to cut right through the noise and figure out how these two worlds are actually coming together to build something completely new. Let's get into it.
First things first, let's just wrap our heads around the scale we're dealing with here. A report from PwC estimates that by 2030, AI, just AI on its own, could add a mind-boggling $15.7 trillion to the global economy. So this isn't just another tech trend, you know? This is a massive fundamental shift in how the world works.
I really love this quote from Andrew Ng, who's a total pioneer in AI, because it just frames it perfectly. AI isn't just some new app or gadget. It's becoming a utility, like a foundational layer that's going to power, well, everything, just like electricity did for the last 100 years of innovation.
Okay, so to really understand how they work together, we need to be super clear on the two main ingredients. On one hand, you have the intelligence revolution, that's AI. And on the other, you have the trust revolution, which is all about blockchain. So let's just quickly define what we're talking about.
So, AI. At its heart, artificial intelligence is all about building machines that can think, that can learn, and that can make decisions. It's basically the brain of the operation, something that can sift through enormous amounts of data and spot patterns that you or I would probably miss.
And then you've got blockchain. The easiest way to think about this is like a digital notebook that everyone shares and trusts completely. Because it's decentralized and secure, once something is written down, it's pretty much impossible to go back and secretly change it. It becomes the official, untamperable source of truth. But this is where it gets really interesting. I mean, on their own, both of these are totally revolutionary, right? But when you combine AI's incredible power to make decisions with blockchain's verifiable, rock-solid trust, well, that's when you unlock something that is a complete game changer. Just think about it for a second. An AI can make these unbelievably complex decisions, but a lot of the time we have no idea how it got to that answer. It's kind of a black box. So how can you trust an AI to, say, manage your money if you can't audit its actions? Well, that's exactly where blockchain comes in. It provides these transparent, unchangeable rails for that intelligence to operate on. It makes sure every single action is recorded and secure. It really just boils down to this simple but powerful idea. AI brings the brains and blockchain brings the trust.
So, what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, a bunch of key opportunities just pop right up. First, smarter trading. You can have an AI run these complex trading strategies all by itself, using smart contracts on a blockchain, which gets rid of human error and emotion. Second, way better security. AI is fantastic at spotting patterns, so it can watch a blockchain and flag sketchy-looking activity almost instantly. Third, DAO governance. AI can help run these decentralized groups more smoothly by analyzing proposals and modeling what might happen. And finally, and this one is huge, data monetization. This combination basically creates a way for you to actually own and control your personal data, and then get paid for it when companies want to use it to train their AI models. Now, of all these new possibilities, one of the most exciting and, frankly, most tangible examples is happening in a sector called DePIN. That stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. The big idea behind DePIN is to build the actual physical infrastructure of our world. We're talking everything from cloud computing to wireless networks, but not with giant corporations. Instead, it's built by a global community of everyday people, all working together and coordinated through a blockchain. So how does that even work? Well, it's actually pretty simple. DePIN projects use crypto tokens as an incentive. Let's say you have some extra computer power, or some unused data storage, or even extra Wi-Fi bandwidth. You can contribute that to the network, and in return, you earn tokens. It's basically a way to crowdsource the building blocks of our digital future. Generally, these DePIN projects fall into two main buckets. First, you've got physical resource networks, or PRNs. These deal with tangible hardware that's tied to a specific location, like building a community-owned 5G network. And then you have digital resource networks, or DRNs, which are for things that aren't tied to one spot, like cloud storage or the raw computing power that's needed to train AI models. Okay, so this brings us to the actual crypto projects themselves. Who's out there on the ground actually building this future? What kind of problems are they trying to solve? Let's take a look at some of the biggest names in the AI crypto space right now. As you can see, these are not small-time experiments. We're talking about projects with market caps in the billions of dollars, and each one is tackling a different piece of this giant puzzle.
You've got projects like Filecoin, which is building a decentralized version of Amazon Web Services for data storage. There's BitTensor, building a marketplace where different AI models can actually learn from each other. Render is creating a global network for GPU power, which is absolutely critical for AI. And then you have these super ambitious projects like Internet Computer, which is literally trying to build a fully decentralized web from scratch. Let's just zoom in on a couple of them.
Okay, take Render. It's a perfect example of a digital resource network. If you've ever wondered how they make movies or video games, it takes a ridiculous amount of computing power to render those 3D graphics, and that power is super expensive. So Render created this peer-to-peer network where anyone with a powerful graphics card can rent out their computer's idle time to artists who need it. And the whole thing is coordinated and paid for through the blockchain. It's just a brilliant decentralized way of matching supply with demand.
Or if you want to think even bigger, look at a project like Internet Computer. Their vision is, well, it's to rebuild the entire internet. Right now, almost every website you visit lives on a server controlled by a handful of giant tech companies, like Amazon or Google. ICP wants to change that, allowing apps and websites to run directly on a decentralized blockchain network. The goal is to build a world computer that puts control back in the hands of users, not huge platforms.
Now, as incredible as all this sounds, we have to be realistic. The road ahead is definitely not a straight line. It's really important to have a balanced view here and understand the very real challenges that need to be solved.
So what's the catch, right? What's stopping this from just taking over the world tomorrow? Well, there are some pretty significant technical, ethical, and legal hurdles that everyone in this space is grappling with.
First off, scalability. Blockchains can be slow and they can be incredibly power hungry. Then you've got the huge issue of data quality. An AI model is only ever as good as the data you feed it. After that, you've got these massive privacy and ethical questions that come up when you start using people's personal data to train AI. On top of all that, the rules and regulations are completely up in the air, which makes it hard to innovate. And of course, there's the wild price volatility that you see in crypto, which makes these networks pretty risky for everyone involved.
But here's the thing that's so important to remember. This whole movement, it's about so much more than just creating new tokens to speculate on. The real goal here, the big prize, is to build the fundamental plumbing for a more open, a more transparent, and a more user-owned internet, where intelligence and trust can finally work together.
And that really just leaves us with this final thought from Nicholas Beale. AI done right will empower. The big question is, could combining AI with blockchain be the secret to actually doing it right? Can this convergence create systems that truly empower individuals instead of just making huge corporations even bigger? Well, that's the multi-trillion-dollar question that all of these projects are trying so hard to answer.